This is Pastor Selwyn over here for Prepcast, a podcast about preparation. I'm passionate, I am obsessed about preparation for any gifted person, any artist that wants to come into the music industry, and you want to make sure you benefit and you take full advantage of this industry, excuse the pun, but you will be able to have a sustainable career. And here we are. This podcast is solely for that. I've been doing a lot of research. I've talked to industry experts. I've got incredible people that are going to be coming through. We're going to be taking you step by step, if not only just guidance, or also just telling stories about what to avoid, what to look out for. So many episodes are coming. But here we are on Prepcast. This is actually the first episode with a guest. And over here I've got my brother. I am not shy to tell you that we have found Christ together. We go to the same church. We're under the same covering of Dr. Thabiso Gabaloi, and he's a brother to me. But not only that, this man's mind is quite interesting, and I love the space that he is in. Yeah. He's in the space of development. He's in the space that challenges the status quo at AMP Studios. I've got my brother over here, Buntu Mawisa, a.k.a. Slim. And he will tell you more about his CV, but I can tell you this, that he is running operations, managing staff at M Studios, and he will give us a brief history of what M Studios is. But if you're an up-and-coming artist, not only that, if you're an established artist and you want to work on your craft, when I say work on your craft, it simply means where you are now taking the business of the business. They do a lot of workshops there, and it is so fitting to have a guest like him for this podcast. Prepcast, all things preparation.
Yes, sir.
We are here at Bogart Radio, and I'll keep on saying this, that if you want to catch these episodes, just download the Bogart Radio app. Simple. Download it and you will catch these exclusively on that app, and more to come. But here we are.
My man.
My brother, welcome.
How are you doing?
Dude, I'm so excited.
I can hear, man. I know this has been like a long journey for you. You've done it before, 2.0.
Yeah,
like 2.0 version. And they say something done the second time is always done better, because now you've learned like the mistakes. You know what to work on. I'm gonna say, I do feel a little bit awkward that I'm at a Prepcast or Prep podcast and I arrived late. So this goes against. This goes against. I'm gonna blame it on my partner. She's the reason we're late.
Let's just say there's grace. And also there's part of authenticity. That we are people. You could have been stuck in traffic. And all that stuff. Something that we couldn't have avoided. But you're here. Here we are. You're
Definitely.
Look, you are one of the important figures in my space. Because what you represent and what we always speak about is exactly this. So I would like you to just briefly tell us about yourself, because there's two things I want to cover. I want to cover the man behind, because behind any gift, there's a person, there's a human being.
For sure.
And a human being has to have a certain type of character or some form of readiness. And that kind of readiness is the character that you have built, and the character is built with challenges you have met, things that life throws at you, the ability to be tenacious and resilient. Me knowing you personally, but I just want you to tell me, especially the story you told me when you came to Joburg.
I mean, jeez.
And you found yourself now having to be here. You know what I'm trying to do. A lot of people have the beginning, the first day. And they don't know what to expect. And it is scary. It is, all those things. But people like you are able to say, hey, if he can do it. Sure. I can relate. I've been there. Man.
For sure. I mean, there's definitely parts I'm going to skip because the story's long. But I'm originally from Cape Town, right? I'm from Yeah, well, Ekapa. There's Ekapa, then there's Cape Town.
Yeah.
If you're from Cape Town, you'll know the difference, right?
Yeah.
Originally born Equa.
Yeah.
But like my dad's side's from Equa, but I moved to Cape Town. Well, no, I was born in Cape Town, but home is Equa. Yes. Yeah. Born in Cape Town, but home is Equa. Grew up at Kailicha, moved, lucky enough to move to a suburban area called Montana. Music was my passion, right? I come from a family originally of 7, right? So I just want to give you the headspace of where my music side comes from. So I come from a family of 7. I'm the youngest, right? My dad was like a huge jazz fan, fan. My mom was a huge gospel fan. My sister was a huge R&B fan. So my sister used to listen to like a lot of Brandy. My oldest brother was a huge Pac fan, like any man, you know what I mean? My second brother was a huge 50 Cent, Jay-Z fan, right? And then there was me, right? And I would chill with all my siblings and my mom. So when I was chilling with my dad, I listened to a lot of jazz. When I was chilling with my mom, I would listen to like a lot of gospel. When I'm chilling with my sister, R&B, yada, 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 yada. Right. So without knowing, I was immersing myself in like different forms of music. At the time, I didn't know. I'm just the kid that just wants to hang around everybody. So through that, I was able to like learn a lot of sound and a lot about music, right? Without knowing that I'm learning, I was experiencing music, right? I became an artist. I did really well in Cape Town. That propelled me to have the energy to come into Johannesburg.
Were you doing hip hop?
Doing hip hop, right? Doing hip hop. Like any rapper starting with poetry. I'm sure you have one poem, Nyana.
Even for the girls that I was
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I think anybody that starts off in the creative side, right, you always want to express yourself, right? You're trying to find this thing inside you that you're trying to get out, right? So for me, the best way for me to express it was through hip hop. Moved to Johannesburg, had the craziest first year of my life in Johannesburg, where you know the Joburg story, man. If you're not from here, you know the Joburg story, where you move into an apartment, you get kicked out of the apartment, you sleep in your car. I've been through that, right? But I think tell me,
that part, those are the moments that make or break a person.
For sure.
Sleeping in a car, not being able to pay rent.
For sure.
And you came with a vision that you want to build this dream. Yeah. What state of mind were you in at that point?
That's a good question. I think it was somewhere between desperation and validation. Yeah, somewhere between wanting to I'm desperate to get this art out, but I'm also like I'm desperate for the validation to know that I'm good at what I do, right? So there's that weird balance there, right? But I think Jay-Z said this. He said a true hustler doesn't just know when to get in, but he knows when to get out. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And for me, I learned that it's one thing to know when you're in, right? But the true art of really knowing whether you're an investor, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're an artist, moving in between genres, right? The best thing to know is when to get out. Everyone knows. Most people know when to get in. A few people know the exact time to get in. Most people know when the market is flooded, but people really, really, really know when to get out, right? One of my favorite artists, South African artists, is AKA. But one of my favorite businessmen is Casper. Yeah. And Casper is, he represents that knowing when to get in and knowing when to get out. Right? And he will take the criticism of getting out and getting into something new. You know, he was being hated on for when jumping onto Amapiano. But at that time, we didn't know Amapiano would do what it's doing, right? But in essence, I'm saying knowing when to pivot. And at that point, I spent a lot of time trying to figure out when is the right time, when is the right time, when is the right time to. And this was 2020, right? 2020, 2019 when I moved to Joburg, 2020 when I was really settling in. Yeah. And at this time, I'm a hip hop artist. I'm a hip hop head, not even just a hip hop artist.
Yes.
I'm a hip hop head. I breathe this thing, right? But at the same time, I can see that, like, bro, I'm a man and I understand patterns. And if you're a man, you understand patterns. And if you're an entrepreneur, you understand patterns. Someone can ask a man, hey, how did you know that girl is doing that thing? It's like, bro, I understand patterns. She doesn't usually text like this. You understand? Yeah. So I'm a man who understands patterns. And from a pattern perspective, I could see that, like, in the music industry, hip hop specifically, it's not looking good right now. Right. And I'm like, what is the best thing that I can do to empower myself? Right. And luckily I was fortunate enough to have really good people around me, right? And people like John Savage, right, who is the founder of AMP Studios. So at the time, when I was in Cape Town, he got me my biggest deal at the time, right? Where I did like a brand ambassadorship with Hunters. Okay. Right. That's the first time I saw over 100 grand in my life. Wow. That was the first time I was like, yo, and that, that first big check, like, yo, you know what I mean? Right? It tests you. It really tests you, right? Ask me then if I get 100 grand in my account, what would I do? It's so different now. You know what I mean? But anyway, so I meet John. John is aware that I'm an artist, but he's aware that I'm trying to pivot. So he puts me into television. Come on. Yeah. So I go into television and I get lucky enough to get mentorship from Cooley. But how I get mentorship from Cooley is because Cooley wanted a beat. Cooley Chana wanted a beat that someone had sent to him that they had heard me play on a live. So I was doing a live, Instagram live, and I was working on a tape through Instagram live. So I recorded that, screen recorded and sent it to Cooley. Cooley's like, I really vibe with this. The amount that he was gonna pay me wasn't gonna be enough for me to pay my rent. So I asked for mentorship instead. Right? So I was like, I was gonna trade off money for mentorship. Through that mentorship, I then once again re-met people like John Savage. And I wanna say this also, something that we maybe take for granted. It's so important when you meet someone and then you re-meet them through some. Oh, is this the coffee? This smells really nice. You put in the 6 sugars. I'll judge it. Listen to me, don't judge.
I thought you were gonna say, I'm kidding.
Thank you, Dad. Thank you. But anyway, so
it does smell divine.
It does, right? It does. So anyway,
you can take a seat. Just relax.
What's up, brother? How you doing? We introduce ourselves on this podcast. I'm a guest and I'm acting like I'm the host. We introduce ourselves on this podcast.
All right. So John Savage sees.
So
I love the fact that he
sees the potential.
Oh, look. You said something profound.
Yeah.
These are the turning points that I want to highlight every time that I have a guest.
Yeah.
He sees that you are at the point where you want to pivot. He must have seen something in you.
Because I was hungry.
The fact that you are also aware that he's seeing what you now can tell it's a time to get in or a time to get out. We miss those times. I know that I'm a victim of missing those times. Because we focus too much on the, I will say, lack of a better word, playfulness of people appreciating you as an artist.
For sure.
Because they don't know the person. So the real business is recognizing who is the person behind the artistry. And I mean, John Savage is a mogul.
For sure.
If anyone knows, I mean, he's got a long CV. Even with, I think, with Kwaito,
I mean,
he was on big names.
He was on he's done some radio, he was in a band. He's done a lot of brand work. He's worked with agencies. A remarkable guy.
Wasn't he involved with a big major label running?
I'm not sure.
I think publishing.
Sure. I think it was in the agency side of things. So aligning artists with brands.
I need to get him here. I need to get him here because that's the gold mine of it. So there you are. You get a gig for television.
I'll tell you this, right? I'm an artist. I'm an A&R. I'm an entrepreneur. I can put in a lot of pillars, but overall, what I am, the business that I'm in. So the business that I'm in is the business of people development. That's what I'm in. That's my business. My business is people development.
Ellie, the guy who owns this, he said the very same words
Really?
The reason why Bogart is here. He, without knowing who I am, just blurted out those words.
Yeah.
And that's what touches me.
Crazy. Yeah.
That's what touches me.
Yeah.
And the alignment.
Yeah.
That's why you're here.
Yeah.
So let's talk about development.
Yeah.
Now you're at M Studios.
So now I'm at M Studios.
Yeah.
So before I get to M Studios, I was hosting masterclasses here, like literally just the host of the masterclass, right? Introducing guests, but in introducing these guests, I'm meeting guys like Zwaibala, I'm meeting people like Questa, I'm meeting people like Tira, I'm meeting Nota, you know what I mean? Yeah. And at that time, because I need to read up on these people, now I'm really getting into like understanding the business side of things. What was Nota really doing? What was Tira doing outside of being in front of
How
the
were
camera?
you learning it? Were you talking to them or just watching them?
One, talking to them,
yeah.
But also because I'm a host, right? And I need to introduce a guest.
Yeah.
When I'm introducing the guest,
So
I need to give the caliber of work that they did. So now I'm like, okay, this is how this started, and then I got to understand the business side of things, right? And then COVID happened. Remember 2020 COVID happened? Yeah. Everybody's life's flashing before their eyes, right? And at that point in time, luckily enough, because I got the gig for about 4 months, luckily enough, John Savage somehow, some way takes the masterclass that we've shot and create a show out of them and then sells that to MTV Base.
Okay.
Right? And then through that, he then gets me to be the host of that. Okay. So I was hosting just masterclasses. Yeah. Then he's like, yo, you're good behind the camera, right? You have a way with words. So here you go. You're shooting tomorrow morning. Like, this is like literally tells at night. You're shooting tomorrow morning.
Just like this fellow over here. We did the same thing. You're like, yo, shooting tomorrow. Like,
you know what I mean? So it's like, I remember I can barely pay rent. I don't even know what the hell I'm going to wear. I'm waking up in the morning getting a hat from that guy, a t-shirt from that guy. You know what I mean? But I show up. And that's another thing. Honestly, to say, I'll stop here and there to just talk about the lessons, right? Anybody who's in entrepreneurship, and if you're an artist, you're in entrepreneurship, right? If you are a creative, you're an entrepreneur, right? There is never a perfect time. There is never a perfect. Just start, bro. Like you're never gonna have all the resources. You're never gonna. If it just feels right. Go in. Right. So for me, it was like it just felt right. I went in. We shot like 10 episodes. I made bank, right? I was enough to pay back my backlog in rent. So I went to went to my landlord. Pick it. Right? And I then immediately I had the opportunity to then bring people. So I brought Ali. Right? Ali, I brought Ali from Cape Town. Ali, who's a videographer.
That's an interesting story. You see, this is exactly what we're talking about. Now you are aware. You see it. Like Thomas. That you've got bank, you are able to pay backlog. That's the point where I want to get. A lot of artists, they've never had 100K. Or they've never made 100K twice. So they have one and then they have two. Somehow mentally something happens. It's either you know where you are going, where you need to show up. So in you, being you, what was it that motivated you? Now there must have been something that opens the window for you. To say, if I continue like this, this can take me somewhere, or I can sustain, or I can grow. Other people don't think like that. Okay. So in your case, here it is. You were thrown into something that needed to. You knew you had to start. And then there was a reward. That part of reward, how do you now adjust your mind to say, be careful?
I know what I'm good at. And what I'm not good at, I find the people that are close to being good at that thing. And I develop them. I'm not good at videography. I'm not going to try and be good at videography. Say that again, man. Do you know what I mean? So I really just find people that are really great at what they do. I'm not, if I know what that, I'm not good at that. I'm not,
so
right?
These are the things that we can't just sweep through. Find people that are good at something. You only resemble who you assemble with.
100%.
And somehow when you rub shoulders with someone that's great, it's not with the mentality of a connection, just me being next to you, your righteousness rubs off me.
For sure.
Somehow there's
For
like
sure.
a mantle that is
For
there.
sure.
And every time that you talk to, even now, there are established artists who are not surrounded by people who are specialists at something. And that is the word that I want to emphasize, that even here at Bogart Radio, the Ronny, who's here, when I look to the left, when I look to the right, but he has a team of people that he knows that whenever there's a project, a campaign, something that they have to build on, this guy is good at this thing. And we miss out on those things. Those are key factors that need to be emphasized because you are about to start a career here.
For sure.
And you're gonna be dealing with your life.
For sure.
And the only thing that protects you is the good people around you. Even at church. You've met your spiritual father needs people like you who are good at something so that his vision can go. He always says vision conception is 100%. A solo effort. But vision completion is a collective effort. So for you to be able to point out that you're good at spotting people that are good at something, man, can you go to the drawing board, really take that serious, go to the drawing board and think about who's surrounding you. Time is valuable. That to me, what you just said says to me, time is valuable.
100%. And look, at the end of the day, man, it's as simple as a fish is great underwater, but a fish will look stupid on land. Right? So it's like you take someone's best take someone's best attributes. I think we live in a time where people are trying to do too many things. Right? But it's like if I take your best attributes and I use that, and I take his best attributes and I use that, and I take his best attributes and I use that, right? You will wake up every day ready to go to work and ready to change shit up, right? But if you're gonna come in and do that thing that you don't like doing, then it affects the whole morale of the business. Right? And it affects the whole morale of the vision. So that's why I think I'm always, if you see me, right, just the energy that I have and the people that I'm around, right, we're always happy because we're always bringing out the best in each other. Right? We're not doing things where it's like, I'm doing the thing that I don't want to do. I'm always waking up and doing the thing that I want to do. Even, I'm not saying the thing that I'm good at is the thing that I like. That's two different things also. Just because you're good at something doesn't mean you have to like it. Right? There's some things that you're going to be good at but you don't like doing, but you're still good at them. Do you know what I mean?
You're touching on something now. You're giving me an idea. I'm going to do this every time that I have a guest. I lived through this where because you have a gift, because you're an artist, you want
my lips dry.
I think that's what she was trying to tell you.
You say my lips are dry.
Oh, it's hot.
I was about to say, so come on, man.
I saw her.
I'm like, you deep in the moment. You giving game. You're like, just hold this samba. Oh, my man. I forgot you know what I mean? I'm not looking at the cameras. I'm looking at you. Somebody might be in the comment section saying something crazy.
Hey. Yes, Ababuye. Isn't it right? Hey, we're not.
You were saying
games.
In the segment. Sorry to cut you, man.
I was trying to say that when you have to do what you don't like, so that you can do what you like.
For sure.
That's part of preparation.
Sure.
That is one thing that builds your character raw and uncut.
Bro.
That your heart, it teaches your heart to be strong. You will have a still backbone. Because sometimes we take it easy when we do what we love. I mean, we are around people who love us. People see that there's something great that we're doing and they respond to it because they see, your whole energy is like you're doing what you love.
Man.
But doing what you don't like. And you're not good at it because like what you said, you're good at something, you don't. Doing what you like doesn't mean that you are good at it. And sometimes doing what you don't like. And you find out that you're good at it.
Exactly.
Exactly. It can be a door that leads you to, and that's where we fail. Slicker and I did a song with WHP, and one of the lines that he says is, if we look at how things are done in the industry, that a great artist will die broke. And he was saying that Mahlatini went through that. And if he can see what is happening now, this is years later after he had passed on, that is still the same thing. He will turn on his grave to say nothing has changed. It's because we want to do what we like, and it doesn't pay rent. At that time,
not at all.
And sometimes what pays rent is doing what you don't like, and you're good at it.
And can I tell you this, man? I remember being at the lowest part of my life here in Johannesburg, and I stayed with my brother because I got kicked out of where I stayed, of course. But I stayed with my brother-in-law and my sister, and my brother-in-law is an accountant, chartered accountant. And I asked him, like, what is the recipe for success? You know what I mean? Because I'm sleeping in this guy's garage. You know what I mean? And I'm seeing him like really and he's really working, right? And I'm like, what is your recipe for success? And he gave me the best advice. If there's anything else that you take out of this interview, take this out. I asked him what was the recipe for success, and he told me the recipe for success is actually very easy. The recipe for success is literally choosing the right over the easy thing every day. That's it, right? Life presents
the right over the easy thing
every day, right? So every day there's a set of situations throughout your day that put you in a position where you choose the right over the easy thing. Literally from the moment you wake up, you can wake up and press the snooze button, which is the easy thing. The right thing to do is get the hell up, right? Then from there, the easy thing to do is grab yesterday's pizza and fill your stomach with something stupid. The right thing to do is eat something nutritional, right? The easy thing to do is turn on the TV and catch up on that Netflix episode you're watching last night. But the right thing to do is get your ass in the gym and get to work, right? So life is full of those things to say, if you can just focus on choosing the right over the easy, you won't get it right all the time.
Here's what I'm hearing from what you're saying. The Selwyn way.
Talk to me.
We are fighting for a small door. Ne? There's a load of us trying to get into this space. And there's only 11% that will make it. Including independent artists. And the 11% I'm talking about people who've got support. And then 99% of artists struggle when they want to come in. Because we are the best thing in life, in everything, we're fighting for space.
For sure.
Even sperms are fighting for space.
It's actually called the Law of Price. There's a book I read by Jordan Peterson, 12 Rules of Life or something like that. Right. And he speaks about the rule of price. And the rule of price says that it doesn't matter what industry you're in, the people that get 90% of the wealth in that industry is about 1 to 3%. So it doesn't matter what industry you're in.
So that 1 to 3% is the people that made a decision to do what is right.
Exactly, over the easy. 100%.
That is the way that you channel it.
There you have it.
And you've given me something. I'm going to take that.
My man.
I'm going to take that even for myself.
That's just so. I'm going to give you more.
That's... You're gonna be. This is not the only time that you're gonna be here, by the way. So that you know, because we can't finish the kind of talks that we have when we are in our spaces. But I want us to get into AMP Studios now.
Talk to me.
Workshops that you do. How did they start, and what has been the experience? And why I'm saying this, a lot of people come to me and they say, "Yo, I get a WhatsApp about me having to listen to a song because they think my." Opinion or feedback is going to give him some kind of encouragement that, they're doing the right thing, of which I don't come from that. Two, they want me to hook them up with someone in the record label and things like that, which I've never, So my life has been gift, was sported. I was headhunted by Gallo. And I'm not the only one. We were headhunted in my school. So I always direct them to AMP Studios to say, number one, you're going to network with people in the same position as you. But these are creatives.
True.
So you have a heart-to-heart, which is what I hold dear, because when we were at Lee Club, it was our AMP Studios. So we come from poor families, but we had gifts, and they were all in one room. So that's the only thing that I project to say, go there. So what happens in AMP Studios and why?
I'm going to get into that right now. I just want to touch on something that you said, right? About people coming to you for advice on, this is a message to young creatives, starting out creatives. Bro, no one owes you anything.
No
like,
one.
Nobody
No
owes you. It's the hardest pill to swallow, but nobody owes you anything. Yesterday, I'm telling you the reason why I'm saying this. Yesterday, someone comes to me at AMPD, right? And they're like, I need, they asked to see me. I need to speak to this guy, right? And I'm always in meetings. I'm like, okay, I have 5 minutes, I'll come to. I'm like, how can I help? He's like, I need Julius Malema's number. I said, what? I said, what? He's like, I have an idea that only Julius Malema can execute. I said, bro, who do you think you are? Who do you think I am? He's like, yo, I have, and here's another thing, bro. I want to get out of people's minds. Whatever idea is in your head, right? You're not great because of your idea, but everybody has a fucking idea, right? Get this out of your head that like, yo, I have an idea, and because I have an idea, I have to protect it. No, it's just a fucking idea. Everybody has ideas, right? Right. Once you can execute those ideas, then those ideas have value. But while they're in your head, they don't mean shit. Sorry to break it to you, but that's the honest truth, right? So he's saying to me, I have this idea. I haven't patented this, so I don't want to tell anybody. I said, just stop, bro. You here to ask me for help. Help that is the length of Julius Malema's number or DJ Spool's number. And you're telling me, and I can't tell you why. Who are you? You know what I mean? But anyway, so I'm just saying, like, on that statement of no one is, you don't have the right to access to people just because you've seen them on television,
or you have an idea,
because you have an idea,
or you believe in yourself.
That's not enough. You know what I mean? But anyway, back to AM Studios. So the reason why AM Studios was built, right? The reason why AM Studios was built, and this is for every creative, every entrepreneur. This is, of all the nonsense I've been talking all the time, this is when you listen close. AM Studios was built on the fact of fixing two problems in this country. Right. Problem number one, right, is that South Africa, not just South Africa, but Africa has a problem when it comes to resources. Right. I absolutely love what you guys have done here with the radio station. This thing is freaking incredible, bro. The fact that you can give people voices. Do you know what I mean? One of the two things that we have struggled with as a continent is lack of resources. You don't find talent on TV now, you find talent on TikTok. That's how bad, do you know what I mean? That's how bad the job of a government has done to say, how can we provide resources for people, right? People have to put their talent out and hope for the best. All right. Do you know what I mean? Right. So AM Studio was built because we found that there was a struggle and a lack of resources, right? So we built resources from giving content creators, musicians access to those resources.
What kind of resources?
Those resources are, if you're an artist, right, we give you a studio, right? And that studio comes with an engineer, right? And if you are a content creator, if you want to start a podcast, if you want to do monologue content, if you're an artist and you want to shoot a music video, you can come into this place and we give you cameras, we give you lights, we give you mics, and we give you a team to be able to shoot that type of content. The difference between AM Studios and most other studios, right, is that we give you all of this absolutely for free. Right? And we're able to do that because of a really, really great partnership that we have with MTN. Right? Where MTN says all you need to do is have a MTN SIM card, subscribe to Caller Tunes. Caller Tunes is for people who don't know what it is, right? And MTN is the biggest telecoms company in Africa. You know what I mean? So this is not just, what we're doing is not just to tap into Joburg, it's not just to tap into South Africa, but it's to tap into the whole Africa ecosystem. So through MTN and AM Studios, we're then able to give creatives access to resources for free. So we've solved the first problem. So now you can come in and make the music, you can shoot the content. But the second biggest problem that we have as a continent is that our artists, our creatives die broke. Right. We just had that the conversation that you just had now.
Right now. Yeah. That is why this podcast exists.
How long did you say this interview is going to be? 30 minutes?
Well, let's just...
Oh, you messed up. 30 minutes.
No, let's just go. Let's just go. Let's just go at it. Why artists die broke is why I exist. Not only as Selwyn, but as a pastor and also as my calling.
Why do you think artists die broke? This was the interview, now I'm making it a conversation.
I take it from the source. That number one, they do not understand what a gift is. There's a difference between a gift, a talent, and a skill.
What's the difference?
The gift is something that is given to you, supernatural endowment by God.
Okay.
Yeah, you are just born into it. Something that you do with the least effort and it amazes people. Something you do without having to ask for money. Something that you do because something bothers you that much that you take action without thinking. Something that you do when you don't do it.
I hear you.
Your stomach turns around.
I feel you. Keeps you up.
And then a talent is something that could be given by what your parents had done. Something that is taught from in-house, like the characteristics of your father.
So talent is, would you say talent is more environment-based?
Yes,
Gotcha.
yes,
Okay,
yes.
so
The gift is internal.
Okay.
No human being is involved there.
Yeah.
You know.
Talent is then environment-based.
Yes,
Okay, cool.
yes.
Okay.
And then skill is something that you can build on, something that you work on.
My man. Pattern that shit.
Yeah, man. So, so the gift comes with a huge responsibility. All three actually come with a huge responsibility, as a matter of fact, that you need to work on them, that they have a manual. You need to know your lane. For example, I love the example you gave about Casper. I always use him as an example.
Yeah.
That he has the gift and a skill and a talent in all three.
Yeah.
Who could have the gift for business, but he has a talent to rap and he has the skill to execute.
Yeah.
You understand? But he has worked on all three over time and he is intentional. So when you have a gift, there's no way you cannot. When you have a gift, you're a businessman.
When you have a gift,
the gift is a business. The Bible says there's no way that you can have a gift and it doesn't create wealth.
Yeah.
Jesus had a gift.
Yeah.
Of being able to elevate life out of human beings. And people will just throw things at him.
Yeah.
That's what a gift does. The Bible says that a gift will open many doors for you. And you will sit with great people.
Yeah.
Such as we've seen Kane Kid.
Yeah.
The doors have opened. Many examples that you will sit with people that you used to admire. But the gift will not tell you how to behave when you're in the room.
Yeah.
So the question is, who's more important, the gift, the man, or the room?
The gift, the man.
So we don't think of all those things, and that's why we are poor. Once you master that, there's no way you could be poor.
So
no way. So I like the fact that you create space to do master classes, workshops. I want you to talk about
and
that.
that's where the master classes come in, because we've realized, okay, we've done step one, which is provide the resources, but what happens to these artists after they get these resources? They record the song, they shoot the content, what happens, right? Because they're gonna come back. Yeah, you know what I mean? So we've created master classes where we have a WhatsApp line of creators, of over 5,000 creators on there, over 6,000 creators, and we then, what we did is we look for a pain point, right? So step one in putting together a masterclass is we look for a pain point. So we ask the community, hey, what are you struggling with? Right? The community says, artists say getting signed, artists say building the right team, artists say coming up with a solid marketing scheme with no marketing plan, with no budget. Creatives say working with brands. Some say keeping money, fluctuating money. So we take that and we say, okay, cool. Now we've identified what the pain point. Then we say, from there, how do we solve that problem, right? How do we solve that problem? We solve that problem by hosting a masterclass, and the topic will be so-and-so. So, for example, people are saying, we don't know how to get signed, we don't know getting the right team. Then we say, we're going to create a masterclass that will teach you how to build the right strategy with no budget. Right. And that's going to involve for creating the right team and knowing how to leverage your value, right? All those things, right? Then we say, after we've solved the problem, we say, who is the best person to speak about solving that problem? Right? And then we find that person and we say, okay, cool, now here is the best person to speak about that. Go the same thing with content. People are saying, we don't know how to work with brands. So we say, okay, cool, how do we solve this problem? Let's create a masterclass and teach people how do you get brands to notice you.
Right.
Something as simple as that. How do you get a brand to notice you? And then we say, who are the best people to speak about how to get brands to notice you? Then we get those creatives into the room and they talk about how the hell do you get money from these brands? What does it mean to build a YouTube account? How many subscribers do you need? What is a niche market? How do you keep serving that niche market with new ideas? How do you stay consistent? How do you create a community and grow that community? And then how do you start making money? And then once you make that money, then we move on to the finance part. we'll be bringing in Nicolette Mashile, who's going to talk about how do you create content, save and then thrive in the industry. So it's not just about how to make the content, but not how to just save the content, but consistently save the content in the content creation space where income is inconsistent. You understand? And then through those masterclasses, we've then solved the pain point of what the community has said. Next month, we do the same thing.
All right. Ronny, you need to be friends, both of you. So now, as we wrap up, I think we've covered a lot of things. I think people will get the human element and also the serious element of how to take this thing very serious, which is the main thing. The main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. And the highest level of a thing is to become that thing. Like Andre 3000, he's the highest level of that thing. Yeah, he's an artist. I like Prince.
Yeah. You know what I was watching last night? I don't know if you guys seen the Jamie Foxx special on Netflix.
Yeah.
Oh,
you must check it out.
Must
check it out. Yeah.
So many emotions.
Yeah.
I cried. I laughed. You know what I mean? I was just, like, he don't do that. See, doesn't the Bible speak about how women will just, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, so man, watch that special. Anybody watching this, watch that special.
It's about a man who's grown.
And
actually, the roller coaster, because while he's laughing, while he's crying, he cracks a joke. You're like, what? But that's Jamie.
He goes from here to here. You know what I mean?
So that's a great example. You're giving me something that you tackle so many things at M Studios. So now, what would you say to be full-rounded, or at least to be whole in this day and age? If you want to come in, what are the things that you must have? Because you've covered the things from this ecosystem. To walk into
M Studios, or to be an artist, or to...
Meaning from your programs. Now someone has attended 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's say they've attended 10 of them. And you look at this particular artist. What is it that we can say that they have gathered? Or what is it that is necessary according to your experience of the kind of masterclasses you've had? If maybe there's one that you can pinpoint that to say this is actually... victory story.
I would say, man, be consistent and be intentional. Like most people, and I hate it, but it's the reality of the situation. Most people go to things and go to events, some people go to church. Because they have the time to do it. They're not intentional. They're not going to church to change. They're not going to the master class to change. They're probably just going there because of the name that's on the that's saying this is the guest that's hosting the master class. Right. They're not going there to actually put in the work. Do you know what I mean? So my honest advice is, when you walk out of a masterclass, so when you walk out of a meeting, or when you walk out of be intentional, bro. Whatever you walk out of, be intentional, right? If you really are intentional, then things will change. But in being intentional also requires a level of consistency. Do you know what I mean? So
that's it. That's it. I gotta say, we can just hold it here because we'll never finish. There's so much to
gents,
cover.
but we just need to know, how do people get to M Studios? First of all, that's a very important question.
Yes. So, in order for you to get to M Studios, we're based in NewTown Junction, right? NewTown Junction, the mall. Right, and to get a booking there, literally you can book on our website. You can go on mstudios.co.za. Right, we have a WhatsApp line, which is 081-707-6636. That's 081-707-6636.
Catch it out.
And you make a booking on there. As I said, everything in the space is free to use as long as you have an MTN SIM card. And plus, everything that is recorded there in the space, whether you're a musician, whether you're a content creator, the intellectual property belongs to the creative. So we don't own anything that we shoot there, right? It would be going against creating all these masterclasses and educating people if we were owning the intellectual property. So the creatives themselves own the intellectual property. But that's how you get into the space.
All right. So when you get into this space and you see this man, he's busy there.
I'm always running up and down.
To also get him to be here is such an honor.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me as your
I love what
guest.
you are doing. Yes, you're my first guest.
Thank
the
you,
Genesis,
man.
the initiator.
Thank you.
One thing I would like you to do is look around this facility, this place.
Yeah. These are nice chairs, by the way.
And talk to this gentleman right here.
Start with what I'm sitting on. The chairs already are mad comfy.
You know what I mean? So we've come to the part where I'd like you to understand that when you're watching this episode, first of all, I did say in the beginning that you need to download the Bogart radio app for you to get these episodes. Quite intentional, and they will take you to the next step. There are people that you need to meet, and this is one of them, because he's in a space of development. There are people that there are entities such as Bogart Radio. In fact, the whole philosophy of Bogart, it says "Nuff said," and that's what's something that spoke to me. Their slogan, their punchline for their clothing is "Nuff said." Why? It is because when you have done great things, you have paid the price, you have scars, you have stripes. You don't need to explain too much of yourself.
For sure.
You know what that means. I would like artists to get this. That great men do not pursue fame, but great men pursue greatness. They become famous because of that.
Come on.
So when great men don't pursue fame, because there's no greatness in being famous. But when you are great, you are automatically famous.
I love that.
So when you pursue greatness, you've got something to say in a table of discussion. When you pursue greatness, you have solutions. You don't have time to do rhetorics and all that. So what I like about this brand, the Drip, not only that, but what they stand for is that we don't have to explain ourselves. Our work will speak for itself. That the fruits of thy labor shall show. Yeah. So with that said, listen to this. I got something for you.
Okay.
I need to move pasta. So nyegeni, nibo pasta. Proverbs 24 verse 27 says, prepare your work outside and get it ready for yourself in the field. Let me say that again. Prepare your work outside and get it ready for the field. Afterward, you build your house and establish your home. So the word prepare simply means pre, which is before. Pair means cause. Then you build. So prepare the path before you get in. That's why we are here. That's why M Studios is here.
Come on now.
Enough said.
My man. That's it. I almost dropped the mic then walked off.
Yeah.